21st of March 2026 was the date of the Premodern Danish Nationals. Table 1 was recorded throughout the whole Swiss, and the videos will be up on this channel eventually. I really enjoyed the day as a whole, and I believe the organizers did a great job. Great food, not a ton of idle time between rounds, judges on site, and low priced, so we didn't have too many spikes. I would say low prices. Thanks to all the players for being cool, and I hope the ones of you who were there had a great time as I did. It takes a lot of time to make all these videos, so if you would like to subscribe or maybe even drop a comment or like below, I would really appreciate it. And it helps a ton with my motivation for doing these. And if you have any questions as to Nationals or the video in general, just leave a comment down below. I will answer every single one. Getting into a match between Lars and Daniel here. Again, you can see that I am missing 2 dice here from the get-go, but they did supply the gaming area here with 2 extra ones, so they are kind of small. And we have Lars on the left here, looks like Enchantress, and on the right we have Daniel, and we do see a Mistress and some Wastelands, so either monocolored something, or we can expect some Terrageddon kind of style here, I guess. Considering if they are keeping the hands, and first off we see Lars fetching with a Foothills and playing down a Growth, so Enchantress for sure. What kind of Enchantress is not known here, you can check the deck lists, but from Daniel's perspective, this is just regular Enchantress, but with wooded foothills. And now we see Mox coming down, discarding a factory, followed up by a land drop here, another factory, the winter factories from Antiquities and a Legends Sylvan Library here. Nicely chosen here. Great versions of the deck. We see Lars also having some focus on matching his lands. So we see Ice Age Basic with Ice Age Painland and a seal on the Sylvan. I think that's a pretty good play here to hinder Daniel from getting some card advantage, or just being able to look at the top here with all his abilities of shuffling. But follow up Sylvan after the Wasteland, and Lars having no play here. So Daniel could go aggressive here with Mana Denial if he has more of that. Getting rid of the forest with the Growth on it is nice. He takes 2 extra cards, so goes to 12. Moving around some dice here, thank you. And what is the plan here? What can he do? Okay, Port, Sphere. That's rough. Rough card for Enchantress here. Sphere of Resistance. Another... Well, okay, so he's really hoping for no... okay, we saw one of the top cards there. I think that's... If he has the mana for it, he needs another green mana for Winter's Grasp. We saw that on top. Does he take it? He takes 1 extra card. So goes to 8. Pretty low, but against Enchantress that doesn't really matter. Treats up. Passes the turn and Port. Yeah, that's a way of doing that as well. A foil Treat Up Village. In a tournament where you can play proxies, which this was, I think it's also nice to see that some players just pimped out their decks a ton. So we saw kind of everything in between there. And oh, that's rough. He found a fetch from the draw step, so he can go fetch. But facing 2 treetops and a factory. This can get busy quite fast here. Or another thermocast on top there. A forest. And does he just double swing here? No, he doesn't. He winter grasps and swings for 2. And this game looks done. You can see 6 lands, sphere, library, and nothing from last, just nothing. In a deck that wants to just throw their hand at the table to be able to draw into more gas and seeing nothing is not where you want to be at this stage in the game. Okay, tapping 4 mana here. And we hear judge call here. I remember this exact judge call because it was shockingly high. People around him just got shocked. I don't think it was on purpose, but it was fun. Wasn't that serious of a judge call, but calling a judge is something that you have to do from time to time. We see just last giving up here, no hope left, and we are on to sideboard games. Game 2. We have Lars on the play now. Let's see if that's enough for him to get to 1-1 here. First game was quite quick, so we do have time for some longer games here. And a mulligan to 6. But mulligan for sideboard cards is not a bad thing to do. Exploration, so already 2 lands in play from the first turn against a deck that wants to hinder your mana development. That's a nice start. And a slow start here from Daniel with just a treetop. Sending back the turn, we see a web here. That's huge against a turn 1 treetop, just a turn 1 nothing. That is until Daniel can get rid of it, if that is what he wants to get rid of. He doesn't have that many naturalized effects in the deck, so he has to choose which cards that he actually goes to out of his way to deal with. And an Agothian Enchantress here, so now the Enchantress game is online if he draws into enchantments, that is. Forest. Yeah, this is the opposite. Here we have 7 permanents. Make that 8 permanents against 1 functionally. 9 permanents. Another exploration, so he can make another land drop. They do stack. Daniel just figuring out his options. Playing against Enchantress that draws that many basic lands is tough. Finding a fetch and a Sylvan, so hoping that there isn't a seal in the hands of Lars here. No, we see a seal on the bottom there, so nice shuffle. Nice time to shuffle up. Finding the aura. And draws a card from the aura. Was that a seal? Okay. Sphere could shut down this engine, or the effectiveness of the engine. They're still getting draws, but could slow it down. But I don't think that's going to be enough. So it takes 2 extra cards down to 11. Because he took 1 damage from the fetch earlier. But this is not looking good for Daniel here. He needs to develop something. He might have several options, but yeah, the artifacts will cost more as well for Daniel, so he just plays a 3/3 terror for 3 mana. That's kind of fair, actually. It's like half a card to hurt, but with some text. Seal. The draw from the seal. He should pop that on the library to hinder more possibilities for Daniel here. Because you don't have enough for another with the aura in play. He does have a ton of land destruction. That is a ground seal. Takes a read. And drawing is... So Lars doesn't have a way to chip away life totals here and knows that this Terror can get bigger quite fast if he doesn't stop it, but chooses to send over the turn. We see some ways of dealing with lands in the hand of Daniel. Not sure if that's enough, but he could just thermocast here. I think he does so. 3 mana. Yeah, cast on a forest. Taking a read on... Okay, he's not gonna wasteland anything anytime soon, unless he's just wastelining his own. Yeah, he is just killing his own retap. So, speeding up the clock here. And he's at 12 now, so he is on a 2-turn clock now. So Daniel is playing this aggressively. Grows even more now. The Terror is a 7/7. No cuts. And a Sanctum. Exploration. The Sanctum is 5 mana now. 5 mana. What's he gonna do with 5 mana? 2 mana here for more draw effects. That is 3 mana though, but now he just have some floating mana and white mana, but what can he do with that? Oh, that is huge. That's Karmic Justice. So Karmic Justice is a great sideboard card against any deck that wants to kill your non-creature permanents, but not only lands, but also other permanents like enchantments. So this is great against the Rock with Deed, but it also is great against someone who just tries to chip away all your lands, and that's Daniel's plan. So unless he can get rid of this one, it's going to be very, very tough. This game looks almost as over as game 1 here, and now he just represents a card for Daniel to read. We can take a read at it as well, but basically the game is difficult now, and drawing cards will be interesting, but he do have the engine online with 2 draw effects. Or 2 anchors, I guess you could say as well. Yeah, this is a lock. This is what Enchantress does. It just locks out the game. He has the web as well. And in conjunction with these three enchantments, it's just a hell of a difficult situation Daniel finds himself in. He can attack, but he doesn't even do anything here. Plays a factory, plays a library, and that is text. So now he has the mana for playing a 4 mana Silver Library. If that was 4 mana all the time, it would be a terrible, terrible card. Discarding here to be able to keep it alive. Confinement is a weird card. Another presence. Another presence. He just puts it in the corner. Draw 2 from the other 2 enchantments. Palax Wave. Now he can just get rid of the Terravor. And I think we saw the Opal in... Yeah, okay. So now he has Opal Wave. So now he can get rid of Sylvan and Terravor. Targeting them with it on the stack, removing itself, and they're just gone. And now he can go to town. Yeah. And swings. And that's game. This first game, total party time for Daniel. Lars is just taking over game 2 here from the get-go. That web into the untapped land from Daniel was huge. If you are playing MTGO or Magic the Gathering online and are using a rental service, or if you want to do that, I have a link in the description for a referral and a coupon code which makes you get 30% off on your next subscription. So consider that, and onto the video. Game 3, we see shuffling and cutting decks here. This is the final game, so whoever takes this is on to being 3-0. And Daniel is starting here. We see him keeping a hand and thinking, so figuring out what's the plan here with the Mox Diamond. But we see him putting it down on the table, taking it up, putting it down. And the difficult part with Mox Diamond is knowing what land do you actually get rid of, what do you need. Do you need an untapped source? Do you need a colored source? Do you need... Okay, so he doesn't need treetop. He plays a sphere from Forest and Mox. Last with a fetch. And shipping the turn. I would have considered holding up that fetch to be able to hinder port and hinder the ability from Daniel to go Mox into, or 2 lands into just destroying it, so keeping a land as a fetch is not bad. Shipping the turn, playing a land here, and back to Daniel. So very slow start here, a fetch. Finding mountain, it looks like. Yes, finds a mountain. I have no clue what kind of mountain and forest Daniel is playing, so if you know, please comment down below. They look new, but also kind of special. Please give me some information. Okay, we see a Winter's Grasp on the forest. I think forest is the correct one to hit here. Lars going to discarding Opalescence. Not looking good here. Against Sphere and a port. And another port. 4 mana, Winter's Grasp. Okay, so we see just like the first game, we see a ton, and the second, of course, but that was the other way around. But we see Daniel with a tons of permanents in play, last with nothing. But he's fetching here, finding forest. Those are Ice Age, as I mentioned earlier, so I know that. But those basics from Daniel, I have no clue what they are. Playing a fetch, taps in upkeep. Last finding another fetch. So really trying to find some lands here to make some action. Plains. But that will just be another tap land. Yes, so tapping with port and taking his turn. Another land and a fetch here. So we have 6 land and a mox and 1 card in hand. He's just claiming here that he has a sphere more in hand. This is ridiculous. So playing a sphere, shipping the turn, tapping 2 lands. Yeah, this game is kind of over unless Daniel doesn't draw into anything, and Lars will be able to draw into land. But Wasteland, 2 ports, locks up the game here, I think. Daniel just needs a way to get rid of Lars's life total now. Discarding Mirror's Guile and ships the turn. Another port, a third port here. A Serra's Sanctum, which doesn't even matter. And back to Daniel. 4th port. Okay, so 4th port means that he can tap down 4 lands, and with Sphere, that's impossible for Lars to get back. This is ridiculous. This is the power of playing the mana denial plan. Looking rough. There's a spectator saying this looks rough. But 5 mana, what could it be? It could be a Thermocast, so getting rid of a land. Shipping the turn, port. Discarding Seal. That turn 1 sphere was probably game winning here. Lars could have maybe gotten out of this if he were on the play, but this is crazy. Okay, finding a win condition here with a Mistress Factory. Love that Winter's Mistress Factory here from Antiquities. Maybe an old school player as well. Maybe just one who likes to pimp out the decks. And he swings for 2. And this game is kind of over. Tapping Forest in the upkeep and Serra's Sanctum as well. Last discarding. 5 mana. Sylvan. 5 mana Sylvan? Why is... Please explain why 5 mana were tapped for Sylvan. I think it should just be 4, but he is able to Sylvan away, drawing into probably more than one thing. Takes 8 here. Got nothing to lose. We saw the Mox. We saw a basic land. Playing a Mox, discarding swings. And sends the turn, tapping the 2 lands. I had to speed this game up, of course, like I do with all the games, but not much. because this is live coverage, so sometimes something can happen quite quickly, but here it's just a matter of time. This is beating. Terrible, which is huge because Lars used a lot of fetches and has had Winter Grasps and Thermocast hit him, and we also have a Wasteland in play for the Seraph Sanctum and tapping lands. That's it. And now he's just showing what he had in hand. A nice sideboard card here. Putting it on the screen here, you can read it and consider playing it because you do have a lot of mana in this kind of deck. And against Enchantress, you need a plan, of course. So this is it. This is the game. Daniel wins 2-1 and really showed what the deck can do. And Lars also, of course, in game 2 showed what Enchantress can do.